Next up, we have the A2 flash hider. This is by far the most popular flash hider you'll see on the market. This specific model does have the bottom sealed off to reduce the amount of dust that it kicks up. This does well at night. It is a flash hider. Therefore, at night, it hides the flash extremely well. It does nothing to say necessarily for the muzzle climb or recoil control of the weapon, but it does what it's intended to do, and that is hide flash.
You know, one thing that's kind of interesting to note about the A2 is that, you know, a lot of individuals would think of a flash suppressor as being a whole lot more mild when it comes to side concussion and the dust signature that's actually kicked up when in the prone or rollover prone position. However, in our testing specifically, I found that there were actually certain compensators that, you know, in this lineup that we tested that, from my point of view, the shooter's point of view, were actually a whole lot more pleasant to shoot from the ground, from the rollover prone position, throw up a whole lot less dust and debris, and you know, uniquely, for whatever reason, were actually a whole lot more pleasant to shoot than the A2.
Next up, we have the Cooley brake. This is the signature series. This is one of the largest models they have available. This device all but eliminates muzzle climb. I was really impressed. Obviously, you guys will be able to see by the target on how well I was able to control the recoil and muzzle climb with this device mounted to my weapon. This is a very heavy brake. It's definitely not something that you would mount on maybe a tactical style rifle or something you would use for self-defense or home defense. But it's very good at what it's designed to do, and that's control muzzle climb. You know, something this big and this large and this heavy could actually be used to tame 155 shells as well.
Okay, well, that having been said, I would have to completely agree with Steve. Realistically, I had an opportunity to fire this from the ground, and it was not something that I'm looking forward to doing again. I can tell you that even just looking through a red dot optic, I was actually able to see flames and you know, muzzle signature from this weapon even during the daytime. The concussive force from this one being shot from the ground was enough to go ahead and dig a small foxhole. And but that having been said, it is incredibly effective at what it's designed to do. It's designed to tame recoil, control muzzle rise and deviation, and it does just that and only that.
Next up, we have the AAC single port brake. This is the smallest brake that AAC currently offers. It's a really minimalist design. It's really unique in that fact. The concussion from this brake when shooting it is pretty severe. It is average at controlling recoil. It wasn't the best brake we tested, but duly noted, it also has a larger brother, which is the dual port brake, which unfortunately for this test we weren't able to get our hands on. So hopefully next time we'll be able to do that. But in regards to specifically the single port brake that AAC offers here, like I said, it was average at controlling recoil. Side concussion was pretty large, and the biggest thing it has going for it is its size.
Absolutely. You know, when we looked at this, brake, with respect to its nighttime signature, you know, we noticed that this has gave us a tremendous amount of muzzle flash, almost even more so than a bare muzzle, which is, you know, pretty. That's a pretty significant thing to note. Additionally, when going ahead and firing this from the ground, whether I was firing from the prone or rollover prone position, you know, we're looking at a situation that's really similar to any of these other brakes out on the market, whether it's the JP or the Nordics or really anything else. We're looking at a lot of side concussion and a lot of debris getting kicked up around you. It is relatively uncomfortable to fire from the ground, but, you know, that's kind of really the nature of dedicated muzzle brakes.
Next up, we have the Nordic Tactical Comp. This is one of the smaller Nordic brakes here, and it has the 1 port on the side, 4 ports on the top. It was average at controlling recoil and muzzle climb. I wasn't super impressed by it. One thing I can note is, normally I would leave up to Stephen to discuss this, but the flash in the daytime was there. We actually noticed a visible flash in the daytime when shooting through optics. So obviously at night I'll let him talk about that, but the size is good. It's really small. When it's on the barrel, it almost looks like an extension of the barrel itself. But noise was dramatically increased. Debris side blast increased. Muzzle climb was decreased, but not as much as, say, an SJC or something along those lines.
Absolutely. When we looked at the Nordic TAC, when it came to the nighttime signature, this was far and away had one of the worst nighttime signatures out there. We had experienced a lot of muzzle flash with this, a tremendous amount, so much that we were worried that we were going to set the berms on fire at one point. So when we were looking at this, if you're really worried about nighttime signature, muzzle flash, things of that nature, this wouldn't be a brake that I would particularly recommend. That having been said, when looking at what it is designed to do, recoil control, really even in that regard, it's really just about average. So that's just some things to keep in mind when talking about the Nordic Tactical.